it's me, Chris Hughes, Customer Training Officer for Stockport Homes, and today I'm going to be talking to you about staying active whilst in self-isolation. Somebody once said, whenever I feel like exercising, I lie down until that feeling's gone away. Now, that may sound lovely, and obviously one of the nice things about being in lockdown is that we get a chance to relax. Our normal work routine maybe is reduced or disappeared completely, and we get a bit of me time. The problem is, if this goes on for a long time, then doing nothing's not very good for you. So you may say, why do I need to exercise? Well, there are a lot of physical benefits that might be obvious, but there are also mental benefits as well, and ways of staving off things like anxiety or stress, especially if you're on your own, that we can be susceptible to during self-isolation. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what you can do, because it's difficult if you're locked in the house 24 hours a day, and also how you go about it. The first thing to say is that I am not a doctor and I am not a physical exercise instructor in any way. So all the information I'm going to give you is very general. So if you do have any worries about your health, or you've got any underlying issues or conditions, please get expert advice before you start doing anything. Okay, the last thing we want to do is hurt anyone and have another casualty for the NHS to deal with. They're already pretty strapped at the moment as it is. So having said that, you need to know yourself, and you need to know your limitations, and you need to know your own body before you start doing anything. My key piece of advice to you, if you've not exercised for a while and you're going to do something, is take it nice and easy. Take it very simple and aim to do something really achievable. Something you could do and it's not going to kill you. The biggest mistake a lot of people make when they start an exercise program is they do something massive. So they do a big workout, or they do some aerobics exercise, they're jumping around, they've not done it for years, or they go for a 5-mile run, and then the next day they can't move, and the thought of doing it again just fills them with dread, and then they don't exercise for months after that. So it's kind of counterproductive. It's much better, I think, if you do something very gentle, very achievable, and you walk away with a sense of, you know, you've achieved something and your confidence is boosted a little bit, and the next day you think, yeah, I could do that again. So key point is start nice and easy. Point 2, try and start a routine. Try and get this into your daily or weekly or every other day routine, something achievable that you can do, and keep doing it. It'd be much better for you if you do it on a routine basis. The longer you can do something, the more your body starts to adapt to it, and your brain starts to form a habit in doing it, and you'll want to do it, and it'll feel awkward if you don't do it, so it'll become part of your routine. So something might seem awkward and alien to you at the beginning, but stick with it, and if you stick with it after a while, it'll become very natural and become part of who you are. So try and get your exercise into some kind of a routine. So what can you do? You're locked in most of the time, so what can you do? Now then, first thing is, before we get hooked into workouts and routines and exercise and that kind of thing, don't discount just general activities. So things like housework, things like DIY, things like gardening, things like playing with your dog or your cat, or playing, if you've got the kids at home with you, playing with the kids. If it gets your heart rate going and it gets you into a bit of a sweat, that's exercise, that's valid. Set that as your routine. I always think it's much better to do something that's fun, where the exercise and the fitness and all the benefits are a side effect rather than the primary thing you're aiming for, than it is to sort of sit down and go, I must get fit, or I must get, well, or I must do these things, because we're much more likely to stick with something we want to do than something we must do or we feel we have to do. So don't discount the fun stuff as long as it gets you active. So if you're looking for a workout or an exercise routine to do at home, especially indoors or in limited space, my best piece of advice I could give you is look online, look at YouTube. There are masses of free resources available for people who want to do that. I will put some links in the text below this video with a few of the ones I've found. The British Heart Foundation do a very good gentle one if you're just starting. Don't discount yoga, by the way. I'll put a link to Yoga with Adrienne's beginner session. It's about 20 minutes. I do that session every so often. Essentially, I think my body's made of MDF, so I have a real problem with my flexibility. So if I don't do some kind of stretching routine, I think I would probably just snap in the middle. So I do the yoga. I find that really useful. It's also great for the mindfulness sort of aspect of it, but you don't have to do that, just do it for the physical side. If you're the kind of person who'd like to go to the gym, do weights, but you haven't got all the equipment, all the gubbins at home, and you're struggling, then there are, you can do body weight exercise. You'd be amazed if you find the right tutorials, things like calisthenics, etc., on what you can do with just your own body weight to actually get a really tough workout in a very limited space. Or you can, if you can get online and you've got a little bit of cash, you can buy things like these, resistance bands, okay, stretchy bands. This one, less than a tenner. If you think about what you're saving on your gym membership, you can invest in some of these. They come in different sizes and different strengths, obviously, depending on how hard you want it to get. You can even get monsters like this, which I think is off a lorry, probably. So there are those things available to you. I've been doing a little bit in the back garden with skipping rope. Okay. Skipping ropes are great because apparently if you skip for just a few minutes, it's the same as probably a lot longer if you were running, and I'm not a great runner, so I'd much rather do that than go out and run. So there are options if you're looking for a home workout thing. Again, I refer you back to that earlier point. Know your limitations. Don't dive into something that's going to be too much for you. Go for the easy ones first and then work your way up. Okay, so the last option I wanted to talk to you about was you are allowed to go outside, at least at the moment, unless they lock us right down, but you are allowed to go outside for exercise. So I would encourage you to take a little bit of time and look at one or two things. Firstly, if you're already fairly fit, look at running, jogging. I personally struggle with running, but if you're like me and you don't want to do the running, walking is a brilliant thing to do. The benefits of walking are massive. For a start, you use more muscles walking than you do running. It's lower impact, so you're not hammering your joints in the same way that runners do. And then just running in general has great benefits, both physically and mentally. There are doctors now that are prescribing, or at least before the pandemic were prescribing, distances walked as opposed to certain antidepressants for low-level depression, etc. It releases endorphins in your brain that will make you feel better. You'll feel more confident. It'll reduce your stress and anxiety. Also, you're just getting out of the house. If you're locked in the house most of the time, just getting out and getting some sunlight on your face and some fresh air is a really positive thing to do. Walking in itself physically is a great exercise. You want to try and not go slightly faster than a stroll. You want to aim that you could still talk while you're doing it, so you're not killing yourself, but push yourself a little bit. Try and get your heart rate up, and try and aim for about 15 to 30 minutes, at least if you're starting out. After that, you could go a little bit further. Obviously, because of the limitations with the pandemic at the moment and COVID-19, just walk out your door and go for a walk from your door. Don't get in the car and drive to the Peak District or the Lake District. The police are actually turning people away now and sending them home. And I think they're talking about fines and possibly arresting people for going to beauty spots, etc. So just walk out the door. Just walk out the door and go for a walk. If you can find somewhere nice like a park, not far from me is the River Mersey, so I tend to go down there. But if not, walk around the streets. Just remember to keep your social distancing, stay 2 meters away from anybody else. Try and think about places that are going to be less busy. Try and think about quiet spots where you're not going to encounter as many people. But I would actively encourage you, especially if you've not exercised for a long time, just go for a walk. A 15-minute walk around the block is doable to most people, and you can build from that. Even before you start doing home workouts and things, I would suggest just go for a walk. Just get out of your environment. Get out, get some sunlight, you will feel better for it. So, hopefully, and I've put some videos again underneath with just a few people talking about in more detail about the benefits of walking. And again, the other great thing about walking is you don't need any great equipment for it. As long as you've got a reasonable pair of shoes, you can do it. Okay, so hopefully that has all been of use to you. We will be doing more of these videos with some other suggestions on how you can stay well in this period of self-isolation. So I'll hopefully see you soon. My name's Chris Hughes from Stockport Homes. Take care. So this is me walking down by the river, about 10 minutes from my house. I'm quite lucky. I've got the River Mersey. So I've just popped out just about lunchtime, a beautiful day. It feels good, it feels nice to be out walking, you know, sunny day, fresh air. It's quite quiet. I think it gets a bit busier further on, but generally, what's not to like, you know? I heartily recommend it.